Today we are looking at vintage organs from Native Instruments. Let's talk all about it. All right, so vintage organs is a meticulous recreation of organs from the 60s and 70s. They have 5 emulations here. The Hammond, 3 Hammonds. We have the Hammond B3, C3, and M3, the Vox Continental 2, and the Farfisa Compact. I hadn't heard of that one. Actually, I'm not sure I'd heard of the Vox Continental either, but it does sound familiar. So I'm most familiar with the Hammond because it's such a staple in gospel music. As you can see, you have the basic gospel preset up here. And this organ is particularly special to me because my mom has a Hammond organ. Now she has an E3, I believe it's like the home version. And it doesn't have a Leslie. It has like 3 speakers above the pedals where your feet go. And in fact, we'll show you right here. It has 3 speakers in this section here. And this is a picture, of course, of the B3. And so my mom's E3 doesn't have the keys there that you see with the black and white inverted. It just has white keys. And 2 manuals and then a bunch of drawbars and no Leslie. Got speakers in here and does have a volume pedal there. So let's look at the sections real quick. We have, of course, this one with a picture, which gives you a nice visual. And then we have this organ, which is a section with the drawbars and other controls. And we have the amp section, which has your amp controls. In this case, we're set to Leslie, and there are various other effects like your velocity, attack, sustain, release, so on. We'll go into those in detail later. And then our settings. With our controller presets are what our different things do. Aftertouch does swell, sustain does pedal, so on and so forth. And these add to the control that you can have with the organ. So first of all, the organ section. Here we have there's a little delay on it. So we have our sections with our rotator speed, which right now is set to fast by default. And then we have our swell, which is set to, looks like the top of the swell, but we'll experiment with that. Then we have our presets here. And if you go down here to the keys section, we can see that this is the lower manual. This is the upper manual, and down here are our presets, which we can also access with keys on the keyboard. So let's see, down here. So all the way down here. So, and as we push these keys, now if this were a complete control keyboard, there would be red lights on this section, and then you would have purple lights up in here, and then you would have blue lights above the keys here. But we don't have a complete control keyboard, so we're looking at the screen to see, and that switches work exactly the same. Okay, so we were on, let's see, this preset? Yes. Now drawbars are interesting because they help to create the sound that you hear in. This whole sound is actually made up of different tones, as are most sounds, but this is, if we were to, okay, let's set it to 0. Okay, let's turn them all off like that. So it will make no sound. So let's start with the lower manual. We go. That's the low tones. If you want the high ones are up here. As you go on, you add more tones to it. Now, if you don't want it to sound like that, you can, let's reset it. Come on, reset. There we go. We added a bunch of different sounds. So it's our highs. Let's say we wanted it to sound more mid. We can do these. And this is how loud they'll be. Volume. Our upper doesn't have anything yet. But we could say for the upper, we want that to be high pitched. So we'll go, that's piercingly high. Let's go for something a little less high. Now they have measurements here, and I suspect this is for like pipe sizes. Obviously, Hammond doesn't have pipes in it like a pipe organ does, but this gives you, so we got the 1 foot, the 1 1/3, the 1 3/8. That print is so small, it's hard for me to see. 2 foot, the 2 2/3, and so on, and all the way up to 16 foot. So 16 foot are obviously going to be your deeper ones. So we have an 8 and 2. Let's try a 4 and 2 on the upper. So obviously I'm going to make the 4 a little bit louder. Got a little percussion sound in there as well. Let's see, and then 8 foot. So they sound a little similar, but if you wanted them to sound different, like, okay, so we can. So that's some separation, for example. And then we can add in some even more lows here. Now that's pretty loud, actually. We can. It's funny how it sounds deeper with both of them on, the 5.5 foot and or 5 1/3. Yeah, 5 1/3 and the 16. That's interesting. Very interesting. So let's play something. Let's see. Okay, for example, and then this section has for the pedals, which are turned off right now. And pedals, it seems a pedal unit would help for that because oh, there you go. So right now it seems like the lower and the pedals are doubling one another. Okay, now the Leslie, which is the most prominent feature of it right now. Now you can control it here. You can either click on this, or you can go to the mod wheel on the keyboard, and that will have a little representation of it on screen. That's fast. That's slow. And then you can also access it with the sustain pedal. So fast is with the sustain engaged and slow is with it disengaged. So, and then, yeah, so. Okay. So that's there. So a couple ways to control it, which is nice. And the third way is obviously with the mouse, but that's not as intuitive musically, let's say. And so we also have our presets here, and the presets knob, as you can see, changes with our key switches on the keyboard, which is very nice. Bum 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 bum. So these presets are giving you different tones, and like we built one ourselves, but you can use. This is very flute-like, this one. If you're not so knowledgeable about what the drawbars do, you can start with the presets and then go to making your own. Oh, I hit one of the presets. So the downside of not having the light guide is that I changed the sound without realizing it, because I was going to play just like you would on a piano, but you know, this lower section is just these. Now, in addition to the Leslie, we have our vibrato, which is on. There it is. And that's on the lower. Okay, let's turn it on. So if we turned it off, it would be very straight tone. Okay, so let's see, this VC, and with the presets, I want to see if that, no, that doesn't change, but it does turn the vibrato on and off, so drawbars are not the only section affected by our presets. So it turns the vibrato off on the lowers for this one. So which one are we? Okay, we're on this one. So if we went to that one, vibrato's off on both of them. We have a different tone. I want to play with the swell, and then we'll talk about the percussion and mode. So swell. Now, in the settings section, it said that swell, Aftertouch did swell. Rotator speed. Now, this is why the sustain pedal is affecting it. It could do sustain, but we have it on rotator speed, which is more accurate because organs don't have sustain pedals. Key split is at C3. So, yes, we are jumping over to settings. I know we said that part on organ, but we're jumping to settings real quick because it's relevant. Okay, let me turn the swell back up so we can hear it. And the swell would be that pedal. We have to jump to this one right there in the middle. Makes it louder or softer. Because organs typically aren't velocity sensitive the way a piano is. They're controlled by the swell pedal. So, okay, so where were we at? Oh yes, key split. So that's where the upper is and the lower starts after that. At the 3, you can see a handy number 3 there, which helps to tell you where it is. And then now we could change that to B2 or A sharp 2 or A2, G2. How low does it go? G2, F sharp 2. Ooh, we have less of the lower thing than ever. Wow. And pretty soon it'll all be upper. Okay, so now how do we get it to go back up is the question. Well, I guess we could type in here and we could say, wake up, C3, no, C. I have a challenge with my C key, so. No, I just had it, didn't I? C3, enter. There we go. Which is kind of cool. Now, MIDI channel 3 is the pedal. The upper is 1. 2 is lower. So if I had another controller, let's say a pedal controller, and it was set to channel 3, then I could do pedals with my feet. Okay, now, see, polyphonic percussion disables 1 drawbar. Mute inactive drawbars. That is as it should be. And then let's see, pitch bend, wheel, adjust drawbars. That should be fun. Let's see. And it does. Okay, and okay, interesting. Okay, so our percussion sounds are over here. We're circling back to where we started. Let me pick a louder preset. So, second. So let's play with it. Let's turn this here. Oh, so the percussion is technically turned off, but there it is. And then, ooh. That's kind of a double. Okay, and then obviously that is one of our key switches down there. So, and if we were to change it, then it changes the percussion settings, which is nice. And let's see, so key split, and here we have mode as a key split or MIDI split. I wonder, ooh, upper. So I'll split there, and then we have, let's see, come on, MIDI split. And this is something I'll explore further. I'll probably do a special section, pull out another controller and see what we can get as far as doing the MIDI split section. And then, of course, the key split. And then if we go all lower, then it's all the lower keys. Now, I wish it had one that just said pedals, like it has where you can adjust the pedal settings here, but maybe there's a way to access that, which could also be a more in-depth and specialized video. But for now, we're looking at all of the features, all of the organs, as many as we can fit here. Let's look at the amp section. Velocity on the organ. We have the attack. Basically kind of go whoop whoop. So that release section is kind of what you'd expect. It does changes the release to be very long. Okay. Or it could be very, very short. And it could be anything in between that as well. So okay, so that's our release. Now we have the rotator on. We could turn it off. Our cab is, of course, the Leslie. We could change it to Leslie open. Let's close it again. Okay, open again. Yeah, it does sound more open and yeah. Right next to that, we have the error, so adds a little more openness to it. Okay, what else we got? Brit 60s. This is going to be interesting. Okay, it still has the rotator. So the Leslie being the cab and the rotator. At least here it seems to be separate, and this is where my knowledge of organs is a bit lacking. But let's keep doing amps. Now I suspect this will sound more applicable with the different types of organs, which we'll look at in a little bit. But it's the UK 70s amp, tweed green. Okay. All right. Seems more bass-centric there. And let's see, we get DI. It's like through a direct box. I'm not sure why you would put an organ through a direct box, but you have that opportunity if you so choose. Let's put it back to Leslie. It's our plate reverb. And then we got our spring reverb. Make it short. Oh, so plate or spring. So plate, spring, and then long or short. Okay, and then the amount. Now to give you an idea, spring reverb is very springy. Plate reverb is very platey. Now, I know at least for plates, it was a plate of metal that they would send the sound. And the spring, if we follow that same logic, would be a spring. Very interesting. This is something I need to learn more about as well. But as far as the controls, okay, we got our amplifier here. It's in modern. It's in vintage. We could put it to modern. And this would work more for the other amps. But it does work on the Leslie. That was painful. Okay, some bass. All right, now, okay, so those are the sections. We did the rotator, we did the organ, we played with the cabinets and the reverb, and some of these will be more, like depending on the cab. It will sound different. Okay, so now that we've been over all these sections, let's play around with some organs. Now, the first one is the 8x10. I started with the basic gospel because that's kind of a familiar sound. Now, this one, the 8x10, looks like the gospel one, doesn't it? Let's see. Almost. It's a little different. Doesn't have those. Well, it does have those, but it's like in the light. So, now this one has the UK 70s amp, and we got the rotator is off, so velocity and attack and release are all, it's very quick. It's like more in the vein of a distorted guitar. Almost. So, and then we have our reverb in spring, and it's long. Let's see if we mute me, if you can hear that better. Okay, so you get the idea of how that works there. So and then if we go over here to, what did we just do? Let's go back here where we can see the presets. And then, okay. Now it's also done. Let's go back here. Ooh, do I have both of them open? I think I do. Let's close one of them. It's a fun thing about doing it live, right? Okay. Okay, so that one, yeah, it's not my favorite sound, but I can see how you would want to use that for certain things. All right, let's go to Arnold Lane. Now this is one of the, which organ is this? Is the transistor compact organ. As you can see, it doesn't have pedals. Now, let's see. We just have the amp. This is Brit 60s amp, and then we got this other wonderful stuff happening here. No settings to speak of. It's okay, so our treble bass, our amplifier, rotator is off. Okay, now this reminds me actually of the organ that my mom had before the other one, because it had a bunch of buttons like this. Now it did have a pedal unit, and it wasn't quite like this, so it was kind of in between these two types of organs. No drawbars, but had a bunch of buttons. And then you have your pipes here. Your lengths, so that's bass, this is strings, flute, oboe, and my key indicators have gone away again, which is annoying. So let's try the presets. 0. Ooh, 0 is nothing. Oh yes, it does remind me of that other organ. I don't remember what it was because I was like 2 or 3. Wasn't paying attention to brand names then. And obviously when we got the Hammond E series, we got rid of that old other one, so. Or Mom did, I should say. So instead of drawbars, we got buttons. And they're doing essentially the same thing. Now we have our reverb settings down here, so. Now it has a save button every time I make a change, so I could save this as my own preset, I think. Huh? Did it save it? Should have. Okay. Okay, that's off. Okay, so we were on 3. When our vibrato is on, we could turn it off. And let's see, mute inactive is on. We could. Obviously, we don't want everything on, so. All right. Okay, let's see what this preset was. Ooh. So we go chromatically. Nothing to something else. Okay, now that one leads to you can play thicker chords with it because it doesn't have all the extra tones of say. Doesn't quite sound well, actually that one sounded pretty good too, but sometimes when you get with the drawbar organs, it just sounds a little muddy. So let's see. So F sharp, key switch, and of course down here. Okay, what was the amp again? Okay, Brit 70s. Okay. There you go. I like how that sounds. I'm not going to touch it in this case. So, let's see. G. Okay, very cool. All right, and then the last one is this. Okay, now we will go to the basic funk organ, which is our M3. Ooh, look at that. Look at that tiny set of pedals. This is kind of like what the one that first one I grew up on had. It had, so whatever made it work, it had like this sound like somebody was pedaling on a pump organ. And one day I hit that, the knob, wherever it was probably in this area, in different type of organ. But anyway, it got going to I ran away from it because that sound was scary to me at the time. So, okay. So, but this here is the M3. Okay, so we got the Leslie standing there, and we've got the settings section back, so we can look over here, and we can see as rotator speed, pretty much everything was so the same there. We got our amp. It's the Leslie 122, which I didn't see as an option before, but that must be for the M3 as opposed to the B3 we were using at the beginning. So pitch bend still adjusts the drawbars. is still the Leslie speed. So similar to the B3. Okay, so let's play with some presets. First is, of course, our zeroed out preset on C0, and then this is very percussive and, clippy. So the lowers are muted. Interesting. So let's go to the next one. These sounds are pretty similar. Ooh. So just hold it down and it's missing the bong, bong, bong. So those are pretty close to each other. Let's see. So let's do this one. A little more separation in these sounds. Okay, so that affected it separate from the bend wheel. And then it said aftertouch is supposed to do swell, but I'm not finding it doing that. So, and I know this keyboard has aftertouch, so. So this on an organ is how you play quietly. Then we hit the pedal. Come on. Swell. It's about halfway. Wow, it is very accurate. I wonder. Yeah. So if I control like an FC7, may be able to tap into this. And then let's push the swell all the way to the top. And there we go. Okay, so that's a swell all the way. Let's keep doing some settings. Now this for the amps, it's using, okay, this is a Leslie. So the previous one sounded rather distorted though. What was... So it's got the rotator, it's rotating. And something is causing distortion on there, which is, it's kind of cool. It's a light distortion. So okay, so there's that preset, and then let's see what's the other one. Eee, that's sharp. Let's hear the lowers. Okay, so that's our funk 1. Let's hit up funk 2, see how that's different. It looks the same, but perhaps this is even more settings. This one is sort of rotating around my head as I'm listening in headphones. I suspect it's not exactly going in circles, but it's ping-ponging. It's doing it in such a way it feels like it's circling around my head. Okay, so this is obviously, that's sharp. Woo, so crunchy. All right. So that's the funk one. We did the basic gospel one already. Okay. And then we have the basic gospel 2, which should have even more settings from the same C3. Oh, this is a C3. And then what was this one? It was also a C3. So I haven't even gotten to the B3 yet. Okay. So and before that we had, what was it? The M3. The M3, the C3. And this one was, of course, the transistor. So let's go. So the same thing. It sounds like it's trying to emulate like a pipe organ. Okay, so the basic gospel 3. Woohoo! Okay. All right, and basic jazz. Okay, so that was so now we're to the B3. We're on the C3. B3. Let's look at the B3. That's in the light. Okay. But the functions are pretty similar here. We got our swell over here, our percussion, and our other things. So it's pretty similar as far as what we've been through with our presets and okay. Okay, that's nothing, obviously, and then our little percussion one. A little louder. Yeah. This reminds me of Unshackled. I can't play the Unshackled theme though, because I don't know it by feel. Okay, so let's go to jazz. Oh, what was that? Okay, so those are B3s, continuing to be the B3, and all the way down to, I think even so this is basic jazz 4, we got 4 of those, we got basic rock, which is now back to the C3. Ooh, I'm already off. Running into my headphone cord. The trick is to keep your hands together. Okay, yeah. So that's for whatever that is worth. Okay, so we'll go past those, the basic rocks. We'll go to the bass in the 5th, which is still a C3. Whoa. This must be the pedals. Very cool. So it's very drone-like, and then... Woohoo! What we got happening in the amp section? That's what I want to know. Okay. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So that's that one. We're in our settings. Nice. So if we did want to do controller preset, what we got? Ooh. So these would be the controllers that... Yeah, let's just keep it off for now. Okay, so that was bass in the 5th. Let's go to bassoon 8. Okay, so this is one of the things with the drawbars. It can evoke the sounds of other instruments. Now, to me, this doesn't sound quite like a bassoon, but it does evoke a sort of bassoon-like tone. Okay. So there are different settings. As we've established with those. Let's see. We get past... Okay, so let's C3 jazz. So that's obviously going to be C3. Okay. Let's go to celestial voices, and we're back to the transistor. And to refresh your memories and what that looks like, it looks like this. Okay. All right. Okay. Child in Time. Ooh, it's back to C3. Rotator's turned off. Ooh, I like that one. Now, let's see, what do we got on here? Can we turn the reverb off, I wonder? Yes, we can, like that. Given that, I'd want some space in here. So Child in Time, I'm going to make note that is one of my favorites. And that's how you favorite them. You press that star. Then I suspect if you press this, then I will show you only your favorites. And this will show you your user presets, which I don't have any currently. So let's, yeah. And then to just disable them to show all of them. So let's see if it'll, just want to see if it okay. Okay. All right, so Sissy. Okay, these are B3 again. What was the Child in Time was C3, and we're back to B3, which you've heard already. What I want to do is go to one of the other organs. These are all presets or different settings of the same stuff. I wonder if I can change it here. No, it doesn't let me change it there. House cat. almost has some theremin-like qualities, except with percussion. This House of the Rising Sun. Interesting. Oh, here's her transistor. Ooh, okay. This is a different one. Let's play with this one. I'm going to save that one. That'll be interesting to play with. Okay, as a preset. Fun preset. Now our amp is, okay, Brit 60s, and we got our attack velocity. This stuff is the same here. And then our settings here, pretty much. So the rotator speed, although is the rotator on? Let's see. The rotator is off. So if we turn the rotator on, what will it do? I can hear why they had the rotator off to begin with. So so that's good there. Okay. Let's see. Hunko Funk. That's got to be back to the B3. I shot the sheriff. That's interesting. Okay. I'm down. Okay, so transistor. What I want to see is like another one of those organs. I feel like we've been through only a few. Most of these are B3s and stuff. So let's see. Here we go. So we've been to transistor compact, transistor continental. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I guess we've been through all 5 organs. So this one is the most interesting looking one to me. So we have gone through the 5 organs, the 3 tone wheel Hammond organs, and then we have one of these is the farfisa, and the other one is the other one that I mentioned. So that is vintage organs, and we'll do another one soon. I'm thinking to use one of these sounds in an upcoming project, and so that's the exciting part about doing these deep dives is getting to know the instruments and then how to incorporate them into music, which is the whole point. So stay curious and check out the recommendations that YouTube has for you, and see you in the next one.